This time we're going to get back into Edit Poly, and we're going to make, or use polygons instead of vertices. So same thing I did before. I'm going to make the length segments 3 by 3 by 3. It's important to not make these segments too much. It gets really hard to deal with if you get very many polygons. And now we're going to show you how to make new polygons where you want them and not just in these segments. So same thing I did before. I've made the segments. I go over here. I'm going to convert this to editable poly by right-clicking here and clicking editable poly. Here's my 5 parts of the editable poly. I'm going to go to vertex in this case, and I'm going to once again model out kind of a tank piece. This time I'm moving a little bit quicker. We covered this in the last tutorial, and in general I'm just covering some parts here that we've already done just so that we can save some time. And we'll grab this and this and this and this. So I'm holding down Control and left clicking to get more selections added. I'm going to scale these down to make that kind of tortoiseshell part. I'm going to scale this top piece into itself by using scale and grabbing the pieces that the vertexes I want to grab. This is the bottom, and I'm left clicking and dragging so that they're going to be perfectly straight, or scaling them into each other. If you can, it works better to keep all these segments nice and lined up straight. Your polygon structure will work a little bit better, which is what we're going to do next. So there we go. And just so that we've got something that looks a little bit better, I'll do something different than I did last time. We'll pull this middle piece up. There we go. We'll pull this piece up. There we go. Okay. So a slightly different design than we had last time. That'll work for my needs here. I'm going to grab these pieces here and pull them in. There we go. Alright, so that's what we have now. Looks pretty good. I'm going to get off of vertex and I'm going to go over here to polygon. Polygons are similar to vertexes in how you select them. You just click on them. Now, we want them to turn red or be able to see what it is we're looking at. To do that, right-click on the viewport name and go to Configure, and you want to make sure that Shade Selected Faces is checked. You can see if I uncheck that, I can't see really well what it is I'm selecting. I just get this little, here, let me do that. I just get this little round or outline in red. It works better if we say Shade Selected Faces. Okay? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to select these faces right here, right along the top, by holding down Control and making a selection set. And now I'm going to bevel those faces. I could hit this big button, and you'll see not a whole lot happens. I can do it by hand if I want, but that's not the best way to do it. Right now I'm holding down the left mouse button and pulling when my cursor's over these faces. You can do it that way if you want. Again, I'll redo that. I hit the bevel button, put my cursor over the selected faces. You'll see it turns to a different cursor type. Hold down the left mouse button and pull up and down with the mouse. And then when I let go of the left mouse button, I can bevel these pieces in. It's not bad to work that way. I like to use this little button next to it, which brings up this screen. And what that's going to allow me to do is manually kind of type in numbers, or at least have little handles here to do the same thing. And that's this button right here. And all of these little sub boxes are the numerical versions of these processes. So I tend to use these little boxes, and I like to have that kind of control. So you get height and outline amount with bevel. So I'm just going to set that to a certain amount. I don't know, that looks about right there, and we'll say OK. Now, a couple more things about bevel. I'm going to select a new selection group. Whoops, I just deselected it by accident. There we go. I'll select these front pieces here. I'm going to go to bevel. You'll see it bevels them out. But this time I'm going to hit apply instead of OK. Also, by the way, it leaves the settings you had last time. So if you want the same amount, it does that. Or you can change them. You can see it moving in and out there. I'm going to hit apply this time. And what apply does is it adds another layer of beveling. Now, by itself, that doesn't really do anything. It just makes extra polygons that you don't need, because we could have beveled it this far out the first time. But now I can adjust the height. Let me spin this around so you can really see what's going on there. Watch this side part. See, I can adjust the height to maybe be about flat. Flat would be 0. You'll see that it's flat. And I can bevel the outline amount down. I can hit apply again. You'll see that it's using the same sections. This time I'm going to zero out outline amount, and under height I'm going to pull it back in. And what it's done is it's made like a little window piece there. That's called zeroing out the bevel, and you just go between height and outline amount to make zeroed out bevels. So let's kind of have some fun with this. I'm going to hit apply, zero this out, bring the outline amount down, hit apply, zero this one out, hit the height amount out. You can see what it's doing here in the side view. Outline amount, or height up, hit apply, zero this out, outline amount down, hit apply, zero this one out, apply, zero that out, there we go, apply, zero that out, and I'll bevel this up. And what I've done is created all these little rib structures here just by using bevel, and then hit OK when you're all done. Now in some places, like let's say these two areas here, again I'm holding down the control key and clicking on those areas to make a different selection set. If I just use bevel and I don't change anything and I make the height come out, what it's going to do is it's coming straight out. But if I use local normal, it's going to match to the normal. The normal is a little directional pointer that basically, and we'll cover more of it later, but it's telling you which direction the polygon is facing. And so this goes straight out from where the polygon is facing. Group goes straight out in a direction in general. So depending on how you want to use that, I can hit apply, go to local normal for this one, make the height come out a little bit, hit apply, go back to group, make this come out, right around there, and say OK. And what I've done is kind of zigzag this selection out as it came out. So you get the idea. Okay. I can also bevel in holes into my little tank. Again, holding down control, left clicking to make those selection sets. Using bevel again. This time I'm going to make the amount 0 on group. Bevel this all the way in. Hit apply. Zero this one out. And under height I'm going to go down. I'll hit apply again. Move the height up a little bit. Move the outline amount in a little bit, and what I've made is little vents or holes in the top. Bevel's great because it doesn't waste any polygons if you use it correctly. It only makes polygons where there are angles to be divided. And that's going to create a nice mesh object that doesn't have a lot of extra polygons in it. So I'm going to go back into this object while you watch. I'm going to real quickly add some more detail to this. There we go. We'll hit bevel, apply. And we're going to zip over to this back end, zoom in, and it's also a good way just to add more detail where you think you might need it later. Okay, so in the next video we're going to cover how to connect some vertices, get rid of some extra polygons, and how to use a feature called Connect, which is based on edges. So now you know how to use bevel. Go ahead and play with it. It's a great way to add detail. Don't add too much detail to these tank parts because we're not quite sure what we're going to use them all for yet. So you can go ahead and practice. Don't give it too much thought. Just go ahead and practice and get used to it.